Understanding how a dog thinks and learns is one of the most vital components of dog ownership. In a very basic sense, the process under which dogs learn is called reinforcement. What that means is that behavior to a dog is just an experiment. What happens after will determine whether or not the behavior is repeated. So it's not that your dog is doing things because it's angry or sad or hurt. It's just, oh, I'm going to do this, and what happens after will determine whether or not I'm going to repeat it. For example, when we teach behavior, that's why we offer treats, because if a reward is present afterwards, then the behavior is more likely to be repeated.
When you get a puppy for the first time, it's important to understand that you have to exercise them before anything else. Training is important, but exercise is the most important key. Walking is a very primary instinct to them, so once that is achieved, then you can achieve teaching them things. And the most important part of your relationship with your dog is exercise, because if you walk your dog properly, your relationship with them is built out there, so then they will listen to you at home, and that's when you can bring in, structure into their lives.
A lot of people call and they're like, oh my god, my dog is jumping up on me, it's really difficult. Most of the time, most commonly, they're large dogs as well, so that presents quite a bit of a problem. The key here is to understand how they think and learn. So what a dog is doing when it's jumping up on you is it's asking for your attention, and if you give attention and affection when the dog is jumping up on you, the dog is consistently going to produce that behavior to get attention and affection. On the other hand, if you teach your dog that calm, submissive state of mind gets attention and affection, or if you teach a sit and the dog only understands, okay, I get rewarded when I'm sitting, then the jumping behavior can be eradicated.
Lack of exercise brings around boredom, and they need to release their frustration somehow, and most dogs bark excessively through the day and through the night. And this is also common with dogs who are kept kenneled all day long and have no exercise. So it's very simple. If you want your dog to stop barking, exercise them thoroughly.
Primarily, dogs are pack animals, and having relationships with other dogs is a very basic and fundamental requirement of achieving balance and also happiness in a dog's life. You find in other countries they're sold at 8 weeks or 12 weeks. Here they're sold at 5. And at 5 weeks, the language skill, or that part of the brain that deals with socialization, is just beginning to develop. So when you take a dog away from its litter match, you get a dog that learns how to behave like humans do, and they lose their ability and their language skills to interact with other dogs. So when you get a puppy, the first thing you should do is to begin to socialize. Get your friends to bring their dogs over. You can call us and ask us if we can do a socialization program, and that way your dog gets to actually enjoy its interactions with other dogs.
Choose your breeder if you're choosing a breeder wisely. Make sure that you are knowledgeable enough to pick a puppy at the right age. 8 weeks or 12 weeks is our recommendation.
Destructive behavior is another thing that people do call us quite often about. I've had customers that call and tell me the dogs have eaten parts of their car, destroyed their faucets, dug crater-sized holes in the garden. This again is related to boredom. What one must understand is all these dog breeds were bred for specific purposes. Labradors, for example, the most commonly purchased breed in Sri Lanka, they are working dogs, they are retrieving dogs. They have a high capacity for both mental and physical stimulation. If this stimulation is not provided, they are going to find ways to do it on your own. So, best way to eliminate destructive behavior, number 1, exercise. Number 2, also mental exercise. That's where training is so important. It's not just telling your dog sit down, stay. It's giving your dog a chance to use their brains to understand what we're telling them and to get mental stimulation as well.
When it comes to leash walking, it's again a very common misconception that the dog should just have free roam of the outside world, and that is not true. Leash walking is the best way to communicate to your dog that they need to follow you. A leash is not something to hang on to your dog for dear life. It is to teach them to walk next to you, and then eventually they can walk off leash with you. We like to keep it simple. We use very basic, simple leads that have a stopper on them, which help us to keep the dog close next to us, to walk beside us or behind us, and never in front of us. And last but not least, don't forget to reward your dog for the right behavior. If they're giving you the desired behavior, then cuddle them to death if you like.